questions of either or both the candidates. Any question you ask, the second candidate will get a chance to respond also. Dwight?
Yeah, I recently read an article where Ohio received a score of F in terms of the relationship between public state jobs compared to private jobs. We are one of 4 or 5 states who are, from a comparison level, the state jobs are paid much higher than the private sector. In terms of our, we talked about the rainy day fund and our ability to remain viable as a state. How are we going to deal with that issue, being one of the highest paid in comparison between the private and public sector?
Just for your information, that does not apply to judicial salaries.
Quick response to that. I certainly don't think we, I certainly don't think we need to deal with financial and economic issues with public employees by passing legislation to force things on them. Prior to 2011, starting in 2007, 2008, as we all know with the downturn of the economy, public employees were making sacrifices without legislation being made. And you know, in Dublin, when you want to talk public employees, we have 46 less teachers in this district than we had last year. And we have 250, 275 more students. That's 46 people that aren't contributing to the economy, making a decent wage. 46 people that aren't buying a house in Dublin or in the surrounding communities. 46 people that aren't going to restaurants and buying things. So, you know, the disparity between public and private, you know, it's, everybody does a job and earns an income. But I think legislatively, you know, it's not something that needs to be legislated to tell public employees. You know, we waited 3 years for pension reform. 3 years. The system's bled. Not many people know that. September of 2009 was when the recommended changes to public pension reform was made. It was just signed this past Wednesday. So, you know, I think it's on both sides.
Yeah. I appreciate what Donna said about pension reform. It did happen in the first term that I've been in the legislature. It didn't happen in the previous Ohio House when it was controlled by Democrats. It just languished for 2 years. So I'm glad, and I was encouraging our leadership the past year to pass pension reform. And ultimately it passed unanimously. Only one bill got 1 no vote, and that's because one system didn't stay within the 30-year funding requirement. So that's important. Remind me of the original question.
What do you do about the disparity between public and private salaries?
Yeah, so...
Except for judges.
In addressing this issue last year, you know, we brought an issue to the forefront that Ohioans discussed. And as a result, contracts were renegotiated all across the state. The unions told the local unions, renegotiate your contracts, freeze out the potential for Senate Bill 5 for 3 years. And as a result, you saw contracts being approved on midnight before the election last year. The result of that has been tremendous savings for Dublin taxpayers, for Worthington taxpayers. When you talk to the Worthington School Board, when you talk to the Dublin School Board, they'll say that they've got the best contracts that they've had in 20 years. That was partially because the legislature was willing to tackle an uncomfortable subject. I mean, quite frankly, it was just really uncomfortable for folks. City and school district leaders repeatedly said to me that if we hadn't talked about this, they wouldn't have had these savings. As a result of these savings, they're able to keep more people in jobs. Because the process right now is if you are the lowest experienced employee, if you make the least amount of money, you're just starting a family, and there's a reduction in force, you're the first to get laid off. You know, is that fair? We learned a valuable lesson last year. Not to do anything without more bipartisanship. The model from pension reform is that we can do that, and I encourage us to follow that.